Hi, my name is Corlette Wessels, and you tuned into the NepoXchange Podcast. Career, I worked in distribution. So I was involved in all of those kind of things. I'll never forget, I was pregnant with my son. Long Walk to Freedom is when you were sitting in the courtyard. So when I stood there and they said that's where he spent most of his time writing, you do feel it. I'm like somebody, it brings it to life. I'm a big ABBA fan. When I'm in a bad mood or in a down mood and they put ABBA on, my mood changes like this.
Welcome to the NepoXchange Podcast. Thank you for tuning in and watching our previous episodes. Please continue to comment, like, and subscribe. So today, youth development and job creation have always been at the core of what we do at Nepo Works. So following our successful work readiness program together with Harambee, we were delighted to find a partner who speaks the same language and also has the same drive as us. Journey2Green, led in part by today's guest, Corlette Wessels, has become an incredible ally in empowering young people through green initiatives. With over 2 decades of expertise in the retail IT distribution space and a passion for sustainability, Corlette brings a unique blend of business acumen and a heart for impact. She's also an internationally recognized wildlife photographer, proving that purpose and creativity can truly go hand in hand. Welcome, Corlette. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
We're excited to have you here and also to have a conversation with you. So we're going to start it quite lightly, as you may know, and we're going to have a nice chat as well as a game called This or That. That's our first game. And then I'll just ask you, I'll give you 2 options and you just choose from one. So the first one is, do you prefer the beach or the bush?
Definitely the bush. I also enjoy the beach, but definitely the bush.
And why?
I enjoy wildlife photography. I just like the peace and quiet of the bush. I like the African bush. I'm an African person in my heart.
Yeah, so. That was an obvious one because you're a wildlife photographer.
Yes.
All right, okay. And then do you prefer tea or coffee?
Coffee.
All right, okay. And then jazz or R&B or any other genre of music that you prefer?
I'm better more of a country person and very old school kind of music that I enjoy. Enjoy the 90s when I grew up, so I enjoy the 90s music.
Who's your favorite artist, country artist, or like your favorite music
Zach
right
Brown
now?
is one that I quite enjoy, and obviously the old famous like Kenny Rogers and all of those are still, Chris Christopherson, all of those are very nice to listen to.
Do you prefer wildlife photography or retail strategy?
Definitely wildlife photography. It's just, it pushes my boundaries. It pushes me to be creative. I enjoy being creative. That's a side of me. So it'll be that.
Okay, beautiful. And then HR or sales?
I think HR, I enjoy dealing with people. Just, dealing with everyday problems is not always what I enjoy. So I would maybe rather choose sales. I think the negotiation is what I enjoy.
All right, okay. And then winter sunrise or summer sunsets?
Summer sunsets, definitely.
Okay, I also like summer sunsets. Okay, beautiful. So we're getting into our next game called 2 Truths and a Lie. And so here is where you give me 2 truths about you and 1 lie. And I have to choose which one is the lie.
Okay.
All right, okay. Let's go.
I enjoy baking cake, and I've done a few birthday cakes for people.
Okay.
I've been one of the top 10 wildlife photographers of National Geographic.
Okay.
And I married the person that I went to my matric dance with.
Okay. This one is so tricky. I think you're the first guest with such a tricky guess. The reason is because I know for sure when I did my research that you did win you were one of the top 10 photographers.
Yeah.
So that one I saw in my research, I know. And then I do, you're such a creative, so I know that the baking could be true as well. But I'll go with the baking being a lie because I also do think that you and your husband look like you've obviously had quite a long journey in your relationship. So I'm going to guess and just say the baking might be the lie.
That is the lie.
Ooh, Ooh,
I
yay.
prefer cooking than baking.
I
definitely.
always get these right.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you. So you prefer cooking more than baking?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I don't have patience for baking.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the next segment is called Mean Tweets or Industry Stereotype.
Okay.
And the first one says, solar is only for rich people. What do you say about that?
I think it's a myth. I think people, it is affordable for everybody to have solar, and it just depends on how far you want to invest in solar.
Yeah.
But it is reachable for everybody in the world, and especially in South Africa, every home should have something.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think long term, it's better and cheaper than electricity because then you spend more every month.
Absolutely.
You have to now think about switching stuff off like a geyser and not having it on the whole time. But if you have solar geyser, if you have solar within your house, then you can obviously save much more on electricity. So I agree with you on that one. Then the next one says women don't belong on the rooftop or in solar.
Oh, okay. Jeez, this is going to be a long conversation.
Crazy stereotype.
I always, compare the IT industry to the solar industry now. In the IT industry, it was very male dominant, and over time, women actually got into the IT industry. And I found the same with the solar industry. Although it's very much male dominant at the moment, it's still like that. You do see women starting to come through, and it is so motivating and exciting to actually see, there are women that are installing panels, and they just bring a different dynamic to it. They look at things a bit different. The attention to detail is more there. Their planning definitely is a lot better. Absolutely. So I think I'm excited to see women actually doing and growing in the solar, in the renewable industry.
Absolutely, I like that. And we'll get more into it when we talk about our partnership with Nepoworx because of the group of interns we have. Yes. But I've seen quite an exciting amount of young ladies who have really, really put in the work. They're amazing. When they get on the rooftop, they're really dedicated. Yes. So that's been quite exciting as well. But we'll get more into it when we speak about the program.
Right.
All right, okay. Then the next one is called the ticket list.
Okay.
What are some of the 3 things that are still on your ticket list?
So I do like tequila. Okay. So one of the things I definitely would like to do is go visit Mexico and actually go and visit a few tequila places. Okay. So that's definitely... I would like to still do a walk with the gorillas. I haven't done that. It's been on my bucket list for a very, very long time to go to Uganda and to go to Greenland, is to go and experience that side of everything. We're so always lucky in Africa that the sun and the stuff, just to go experience something different and to do photography there. It'll be a very different challenge.
Okay. Everything about your answers just proved to be that you really are into nature. You really do like nature.
Definitely.
But you have like different aspects of it. So I like how all of it balances together. That's quite nice. All right. So we're about to close our first segment. And the one thing that I want to ask is, what is the one thing that people wouldn't guess about you?
I think that I am a professional wildlife photographer. A lot of people, when they meet me and I tell them that I'm a professional photographer, that look at me and then they, go onto my Instagram where there's about 13,000 followers and my Facebook, which 130,000 people following. Then they get like, okay, well, we didn't know that part of you.
They just know you as a businesswoman.
Yeah, they just like, oh, okay, when do you do this? And, but yeah, that is, I think, the thing that shocked most people.
Okay, all right, that's nice. And what's your one guilty pleasure after a long day?
Definitely to have a lekker bath. And I love bubbles, so to have a glass of champagne or a glass of wine, that is when it's been a hard day, that's what I do. If it's been a very, very bad day, I'll have a shot of tequila.
Okay, all right, okay. And then the last one on this segment is, if you could have dinner with one person, whether living or dead, who would it be?
I thought very long about this, and I was thinking, should I say maybe Donald Trump, because I'd like to know, how he's thinking and, his mind, how does he apply all of that?
Yeah.
But I think the person that I would really enjoy having dinner with would probably be someone like Rian Mansa.
Okay.
He is someone that enjoys adventure. And I think he's pushed himself very far. And how far can you push yourself to overcome fear, to overcome a challenge? And I think someone like that, even Peter Ketz, is somebody that will see that you thought that, you know, when you're broken and you're down and you feel you want to give up, what pushed them through to achieve their challenges? And I think that is people that I would like to be around a table with.
Okay, all right. Okay, no, that's an interesting one. So getting into our next segment, now we're getting to know you a bit more.
Okay.
So if you could please take us through your upbringing, what are some of the things that shaped you growing up? Where did you grow up? That sort of thing. Are you able to?
Yes, I can tell you that.
Yes.
So I'm a Benoni girl. I grew up in Benoni. I had a brother. My brother unfortunately passed away very early in life. And I was the only child. And I think that actually shaped me as a person because, you know, you had to become, from a child, become an adult very quickly. You know, when your parents going through a heartache, you become pushed to an adulthood very quickly. And, I was in school in Benoni. I was sporty at school, very sporty at school. I know it doesn't look like it now, but I was very sporty. And I had a very small circle of friends because for me, friendship is not about how many you've got, it's more about the people that you surround yourself that are true friends. So that's where I grew up.
Okay, all right. I'm so sorry about your brother.
No worries.
And you are right about the fact that grief does shape people and change people.
Definitely.
And I think the fact that obviously you had to learn how to navigate your journey was also something quite admirable to obviously come out of that situation and having your friends and the people around you shape you. So what could then say inspired your work ethic?
I think my mom and my dad definitely had a big role to play in that. I mean, they both worked for Ford South Africa, and for years, I think my dad was there for 40 odd years before he retired. Okay. So their work ethic, you know, is you don't just stay at home when you're sick. You know, if there's after hour work, you go work after hours. So their dedication and ethic has definitely shaped me as an individual.
Okay, right, that's lovely. And how do you then balance being a businesswoman and a creative through your business, through your photography rather?
So I don't get as much time anymore to do wildlife photography, purely because I'm also a mom. Okay. My kids are grown up, but it's, you know, you still need to make time to get to the bush. But I've got one more year to go, then I can go out a lot more. Okay. And the creative side, in the renewable energy side, it brings us where I handle our marketing, you know, and I can actually use my creativity. When people take photos of installations, I'm like, okay, but don't take the photo like this, take it like that. Don't, you know, the sun must shine right for the drone images. Don't just take it, you know. So I try and bring that part through to make it creative. I mean, panels can look very beautiful.
They do.
You just need to apply the sun a little bit and the angle in the creative side. Then it looks very sexy.
That's lovely. I'm glad that you can still bring it through your day-to-day work. And what music are you enjoying currently?
Okay, so I enjoy ABBA. I'm a big ABBA fan. So when it's been a bad day, the first thing my family will hear is when I sit outside, I have a glass of wine, and you'll just hear ABBA. Mamma Mia will sing, will play, and I'll sing it. So if my kids also know this, when I'm in a bad mood or in a down mood, and they put ABBA on, my mood changes like this, and then I'll start singing along, and that's my happy songs.
All right, okay, no, I'm glad. I think also that's the thing about like that type of music and musicals, because I used to like musicals as well. I'm not sure about now. I think they've changed. I think growing up, I used to enjoy the type of like your high school musicals and like from my upbringing and age, so I know what you mean about like the type of mood it brings, and also,
and the words, you can sing the words with songs. So these days the music is like, I said to the kids the other day, it feels like I must just be doing like this, you know. You want to sing along with the song. You want to be able to say the words and it express your feeling and happiness. And if I'm like in a way that I want to listen to more deeper music, then I'll go to country. Because country, for me, country tells a story. Behind every country song, there's a story related. So then that brings a soft side that you wonder what did that person think writing that song? What happened in their lives?
Yeah,
So
that's beautiful. And then getting into now, you just spoke about storytelling. Do you read? And if so, what book do you enjoy reading? Or like a book that has shaped your life, rather?
I enjoy reading very much so. Okay. I mean, unfortunately, these days we tend to spend a lot more time on our phones. So you go TikTok, or Instagram and stuff. But I do try and make a very big effort to read. I enjoyed reading biographies.
Okay.
So that's something I really enjoy reading. And I think a book that I really enjoyed and told me a lot about an individual was the one of Trevor Noah.
Okay.
I got to learn a lot about, who he was behind the Trevor Noah that you always see. You always see the happy Trevor Noah, but you don't know how did he get there. And that was a book that really shaped me. I also enjoy John Varty's books, that he's done, Cathedrals of the Peak. Those are kind of books that I really enjoy reading.
That's
no fiction.
Lovely. I love what you just said now, because I've also read the Trevor Noah book, and I love how he, through his eyes, he kind of gives you what South Africa looked like during his time. People who lived, because I don't know how people who lived like within the Joburg CBD lived like at the time when he grew up. So he details that when him and his mom used to go see the dad. Like, I love that.
And his grandmom.
Yes, and his grandmother as well. Just the impact she's had on him as well.
Definitely.
I've enjoyed the book as well,
I mean, recently I was in Cape Town and we were at a conference, and I was early one day. I decided that I'm not going to, go to the afternoon session. And I've never been to Robben Island.
Okay.
And I decided that day I'm actually going to go to Robben Island. And because I read a lot of Mandela books as well. And I went to Robben Island, and let me tell you, what an eye-opener. And I just thought, I'm 52 and it's my first time ever on Robben Island. And that's something that every South African, so rich part of our history, we should all go there, read the books and understand, what it's all about.
Yeah, I've also read Long Walk to Freedom in grade 9, and I know what you mean, that obviously he paints the picture of what life looked like at the time, but I've never been to Robben Island as well, so it's something I would want to do.
It is so inspiring.
At some point in my life,
When you know that book that he wrote, Long Walk to Freedom, is when you were sitting in the courtyard. So when I stood there and they said that's where he spent most of his time writing and where he actually put the pages under the ground and stuff, you do feel it. I'm like somebody, it brings it to life, and it brings the whole book to life and the meaning.
No, that's quite lovely. We now obviously getting into your love for wildlife photography as well. What role does nature play in your day-to-day life, and why did you obviously choose to get into like wildlife photography?
Okay. I live on a farm just north of Lanseria. So every day nature plays a role in my life. We've got a lot of animals by us. So I really enjoy waking up in the mornings and I just listen to the birds. A lot of people will see on my stories that I post, it's more, listen to this. There's nothing. You just hear the sounds of nature. And I'm very blessed that I can wake up like that every morning and I can go to bed at night hearing the jackal call, because that is the call of Africa. So yesterday I was sitting outside and we had 3 fish eagles flying over us and calling. I mean, how many people in Joburg can have that life? I'm one of the lucky ones, so I enjoy that. And wildlife just brings a different part of me out. It's learned me that nothing is planned, and animals are hard. They really are survivors, what they go through. And I also always think when it's Mother's Day, I always say Happy Mother's Day to people, but Happy Mother's Day to nature. Because what those moms have to do to raise their young is unbelievable. To protect them, to feed them. I mean, they don't get a Woolworths. They have to go find food for their young, protect them. So that's something I always look at. If you look at my photography as well, you'll see the emotional side of my photography. I always try to tell a story in every photo.
Okay, no, that's beautiful. That's quite lovely to watch. And I think you just, as you were speaking, I'm obviously listening to and paying attention, but you just took me back to my grandparents. I grew up in a village, so my grandfather was also a farmer, to say.
Yes.
So the whole ecosystem of things in terms of, he had cows that he would obviously then take to the bush, but he also then had small little farms where he would obviously grow vegetables spinach and all these things that obviously we would then still eat at the end of the day. And I think all of that kind of like build like the person like I was in terms of like my upbringing and like having to follow him around.
Absolutely.
All of that. So I think it brought out my love for, you know, like the quietness but also nature as well.
Oh, it makes a huge difference. I've been very blessed. I've spent some time in Tanzania with the Maasai people, and one day I decided to actually go to a village. And I spent the whole day at the village walking with them. And that was right. I mean, they take their cattle into where there's lions and elephants, and you appreciate how they get water, you know, to do that. And you just become so much closer to nature and to people that live like that, what they go through every day.
Yeah. So you're so many people in one. And it sounds like you've been able to branch off into all these different areas. What did you study and why?
I never studied. I finished matric and I started working straight away. So my first work that I did was selling timeshare. So it wasn't an easy sell. I think that if you could sell anything back in the day, selling someone timeshare, everybody thought it was a scam. So that actually groomed me as a person, how to deal with different personalities, you know, how to overcome objections that people would give you and how good you feel when you close the deal.
Yeah.
So,
you're a student of life. It sounds like you're a student of life.
You must learn yourself. I don't think going and getting a degree these days defines who you are. I think there's many ways of, I look at our business. Yes, if it's an engineer, obviously we'll like them to have a degree. But for your who you are and your personality and the willingness and your skills of life, it means a lot more than a degree in our books and in my book.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. You've recently now, through the partnership that you had with Nepo Works, enlisted 5 interns out of the 10 that you had spent 2 months with. How was it? Just take us through that journey of spending time with the 10 and obviously working with the young people, so that obviously I think our audience as well just understand how impactful it has been to work with the young people, and also just to be able to sort of create jobs and give them the placement they need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, firstly, it was very daunting. We've never had an internship, and now we're getting 10 interns coming. So it was quite a shock. We're like, how do we deal with them? How are we going to look after them? What are we going to do to keep them busy? And they arrived, and it was such a breath of fresh air. There was so much energy in them. They were so, you know, in Afrikaans you would say, lus om te werk. You know, they just wanted to get in and start working. And I enjoyed their willingness. I enjoyed their energy. I enjoyed the challenges, the questions that they asked. You know, for me, that is what I enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
And obviously, they all were from different aspects of our business. And one of the first things we did is we sent them on a health and safety course and working on heights, so they can go to site, because it's important that you don't only be book smart. You need to go and see what is it really, because it's 2 different things. And, you know, when they went to a site and come back, and sometimes they would come back at 8, 9 o'clock at night. And then I would like, shame, I wonder if they're going to be okay. And I would like, you know, like a mother hen on the group, when you're home safely. But the energy that they have done, and they've grown. And I must say, they've done quite a few topics and research and feedback that they've given us that our own people didn't even think about. So one of the things is a cable tray. You're only supposed to put up to 60% at full. So one of the interns, Lesejo, actually went downstairs. She cut the cable trays, all different sizes. She cut cable, and she physically put it in them to measure what is 60% and what does it look like. None of our other interns or anybody ever has done that. So that was such a nice way of looking at it, like, here's an intern that did it, and it was a woman. It was a young girl. So that even made it more interesting.
That's lovely. That's lovely. I think from what you're saying, so by the way, we do have a nice surprise for you towards the end. I just had to slip that in.
Okay.
So having seen the feedback that you've shared with us about these young people, but also having had the feedback sessions with them as well, it's been quite beautiful to see their growth, but also to see their dedication. And like the example you give of Lesego, it's been quite great to see how impactful this program has been to them and how it's changed their life and how they view life, but also their dedication in terms of working. I think also for somebody who's been working for long, they kind of remind you of the drive and passion you had when you were starting out, and
100%.
what you need obviously to just keep pushing. So
and you need to be happy. You need to be happy coming to work. Sometimes we're all like, oh, I have to go in, and they just every morning couldn't wait for the doors to open and go make their coffee and get behind the laptop and work. And that has made me full of energy again to say, yes, I must appreciate what I do. And for me, what made it so exciting is to see them happy and to see their drive and what can we do to grow them. And obviously there's so many young ladies that was part of the team, and that really excited me.
It excited me too.
It was and you can see how they grow, and they didn't stand back once for a challenge, and I like that.
And there was unity amongst them. That's what I loved from the feedback sessions. We were hearing that they were helping each other. If one went to site, they would come back and report to the others to say, this is what I learned, and so I think you guys should research on this or learn on this, so that next time when you're the one going on site or you're the one doing this activity, you are able to learn. And that is such a nice thing to see, that even between them there's that nice unity and synergy to work together. So thank you again for also just giving them that opportunity.
No,
and
we
them that
loved
chance.
it. It was very nice.
Thank you so much. And then we're just obviously about to wrap up the segment, but I just want to obviously get from you what you've had, obviously a fascinating shift from merchandising to now renewable energy. What has that leap been like for you?
So my whole my whole career, I worked in distribution. So that was, I worked for Microsoft, and we would, Windows 95, I launched Windows 2000, I launched Xbox, I launched in the country. So I was involved in all of those kind of things. I'll never forget, I was pregnant with my son when Xbox launched in South Africa. And I'm like, if only he knew that I was part of his launch team. And
he was also a part of it.
I was part of it, and none of us play games. So even today. So it was a challenging, I enjoyed the distribution side because it was fast, it was challenging, dealing with the retailers, that is cutthroating business to deal with. It's always negotiation. And then my husband is in the renewable energy, and he always wanted me to work with him. And I've always said, no. And then he just one day said, just come do it. You'll have a bit more freedom, with the kids. And I decided, it is for a good cause. I mean, renewable energy is the way of future. It does add so much to the world out there. And, it's been a big change. I always thought I knew what a panel looked like, but I didn't know the difference in so many panels. I mean, every panel is different, and you get good panels and you get bad panels. And that's been a big learning curve. And I think especially for someone that is not technical, it's very technical, this industry. So to get to know and be able to speak the technical languages, and then you get clients that's also not technical, but then you get the very technical clients. So how to understand power it's complicated. So it's been quite challenging, but I'm enjoying it.
That's absolutely, I think as long as your heart is in the right place and it's in it, and obviously in terms of sustainability, that also has quite a great play at it. So similar to you, I've always been in PR and other organizations where I've obviously done sustainability and worked on sustainability, but now I think we've had a great canvas obviously to come in and join, and it's been quite great to learn more about this industry and also just to learn about its impact and also like the growing impact of it all. So
definitely
quite lovely.
And I think the exciting part for me is that every house should have power in our country. There shouldn't be anywhere where people don't have access to, especially kids, not being able to have access to the internet, to learn. I mean, we've got it. We just need to roll it all out successfully.
So now, speaking about the renewable energy industry, what's the one challenge that you've had since joining the sector?
I think mostly for me, the challenge part is the amount of technologies that there are. There are a lot of technologies out there. And I think the big lesson I learned is that you must specialize in choose your partners. Who do you partner with in your solutions? And I think the compatibility between all different products, like an inverter and a battery, I think that kind of compatibility, where we've moved as Journey2Green, we've made a decision to work with one vendor, all integrated systems, where you assure quality that way, because everything comes shipped with their products, their cabling, their breakers. If the inverter works with a battery, with the EMS system, it's all working together. You don't have to make it work because they're responsible for it. It comes like that from the factory. So for me, that's been the big challenge, and I think we actually got the recipe now.
Yeah,
which
I think
exciting.
You do too, because that's one of the things that stood out with the interns in the feedback session, is that the technology that they got to experience was quite amazing and very exciting. So I think you do have the recipe.
Oh, we hope so. We hope so.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Vessel doesn't come back from China and tells us other things. So, but yeah, our partners are Zik Energy, SunGrow, and Huawei, and obviously we support Longi panels.
Yeah.
I mean, and people would just say, why Longi? If you go read, like, a panel is not just a panel. People must actually just go read up on it.
Yeah. All right. Okay, great. So if you could do it all again, would you take the same path?
I think I would. I enjoy, a lot of people ask me, what's it like to work with your husband? And there are times that it is challenging, but I've made the decision is at home, maybe I can be more in control, but at work he's my boss.
He's the leader.
He's the leader. He's the one with all the knowledge. He's got that. I can only learn from him and to support him. And for me, is why must I work for someone else and not make a difference, where we can both make a difference for other people? So it's been working quite well for us to work together. And the business itself. So, yeah.
No, I agree. If you have the opportunity, the canvas and the formula, and it works, why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The only challenging is obviously not to always talk solo.
Even at home
and stuff. So that is the challenge. But I think we've come to an agreement to keep it to a minimum, even with our children,
Okay, that's beautiful. And then what is the one piece of advice that you'd give to women navigating the male-dominated industry?
I think firstly is do not be afraid. Take the chance, follow your dreams, follow your passion, and just do it. You shouldn't be standing back. You should be grabbing your dreams, and you can bring something different to the industry. And they mustn't be scared of that.
And then what excites you the most about the future of the renewable energy industry in South Africa, to be precise?
So I think, for me, what excites me is the technology, how the technology has changed, how smaller the systems has become, and also the safety aspect of things. I think if you look at especially these all-in-one building systems, the safety that they've got built in, because lithium is dangerous. Those things can be bombs, and with the safety that it's starting to standards being compliant now is definitely something to watch. And I think in South Africa, the affordability, safety and affordability is something that definitely should get more attention in our country.
All right, okay, that's beautiful. And what advice would you give to someone who's trying to pivot careers like you did?
I think you must just believe in yourself, and, I always say, enjoy what you do, because if you don't enjoy what you do, you're not going to be happy. And be happy where you work, because you spend a lot more time there than what you spend at home. So it's important to be happy where you work. It's important to believe and grow yourself, develop yourself. Don't wait for someone else to say, go on that course, or I don't know. You do know. There's so much on the web today. AI, just learn yourself, upskill yourself. You don't have to go to varsity. Just use the tools that is there for all of us.
Okay. And do you believe that women are adequately represented in the renewable energy industry?
Oh, definitely not.
What needs to shift?
It's slowly starting to shift. I mean, I've been going to a lot of events, and it's sad to see that there's, I remember back in the day in the IT industry, I would sit around a boardroom and then it's like men, and one woman. And then you would say something and then they won't listen to you, but then someone else make the same suggestion. But it was exactly what I just said. But then I'm like, and then I started speaking up for myself. I'm like, I just said that. You didn't listen to me. So it is getting there. There is more women. I mean, we've got an incredible engineer that works for us, at Journey2Green, Nicole.
Okay.
And it's so nice to see how she stands up for herself and how she, how she portrays the women in that industry. So that is amazing.
And I think that's the amazing thing about inclusion is that, like, women can do it. They just obviously need men to stand back. We're not even saying we're taking anyone's roles, we're not doing anything. We just need like that equal opportunity to also do what we can do and show that, like the likes of Nicole can really do great, the likes of Lesego can really do great and be amazing. Even like in the male-dominated industry, so that's quite beautiful.
Definitely. I mean, it doesn't mean that a guy will design something better than a woman. Because I still find that it's like, who was the engineer? Okay, it was this one. And then they're like, okay, it was a woman. Doesn't mean it was a woman, it wasn't designed. In actual fact, it'll be designed better because the attention to detail and the things that she thought of will probably be better. And I'm not saying women is the greatest, but we should be given the opportunity. Young women should be given the opportunity in this industry because that can change it.
Yeah, all right, okay. And then the last question is, what legacy do you hope to leave behind in both work and arts?
I think for me, in work is to see more women in the industry and not to be afraid. And yes, it was scary for me when I joined because I didn't have any solar industry or renewable energy in industry knowledge. But I learned, and I'm not standing back when there's meetings or when there's client interaction. And if I don't know, I'm not scared to say I don't know. Because like I find out, I'd rather find out than going and saying something that's not true. And on the art side, I hope people, when they look back at my photography, would always see the emotional side of it. That's what I want most.
That's beautiful. That's lovely. Thank you so much for joining us today, Corlette. We do have 2 surprises for you. I'm waiting for the one surprise to come. Okay. I've been hinting signals, so I'm hoping that the second surprise is coming up now. But the first one is this gift. Just to say thank you for joining us for the podcast.
Thank you.
So the next gift I'll share what it's about.
Okay, thank you.
But thank you. You can open it.
Can I open it? Okay.
Just to also
thank you very much for having me, and I'm excited to work with Nepo Works moving forward on more projects.
Absolutely.
And more young people to get them to upskill them and grow them.
Yeah.
And excited to watch them and how they grow in the industry.
Absolutely. So that's the gift that we always have for all our guests. It's the same. But it's to say thank you for joining us, and also obviously just to play on what we both do because we're in the same industry.
No, thank you. This will definitely come in handy. Thank you very, very much.
You can read the message.
No, I'm going to have to put my glasses on for this one.
All right,
okay. Let me put it on here.
All right.
It says Nepo Works, power banks. Others drain, you charge. Thank you very, very much. This is amazing. And it's definitely going to keep me charged when I'm in the bush. So I can also take some other quick shots. Thank you.
So we do disturb our recording to share the next surprise, which is your favorite.
Yeah, my people.
You guys can come through.
Thank you. I was wondering why I saw the car was booked up Nepo. How are you? Thank you very much.
All right, okay.
I can also get a hug. Thank you so much.
So for our audience who don't know, these are part of our 2 interns from the program that we've had with Journey2Green, and this is Lesego and this is Akim. So they can just quickly introduce themselves and just I'll move a bit so you guys can come through and introduce yourselves. Yeah, I think if you guys can just share one-liners in terms of what the program has done for you, that would be great. Yeah.
Hi guys, my name is Lesego Khadima, and I've been an intern for the past 2 months. And I've learned so much. Designing, different systems, different mounting structures. It's a lot, it's amazing. And a lot of personal growth at it. Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Akim Pala. I've learned a lot from this program. It has done a lot for me. And we're doing some great stuff there at Journey2Green. So it has been great.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that's the end of our podcast, everybody. I hope you do tune into the NepoXchange Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow our journey on Nepo Works through all the social media platforms. And then follow Journey2Green as well on their platforms to see what our interns get up to and what Corlette gets up to as well. Thank you and goodbye.